The United States is the only country in the world that effectively taxes and regulates its citizens no matter where they live in the world. And one question I'm often asked from often incredulous onlookers is, well, why is that the case? Why would the U.S. be the one country that no matter where you go, they follow you and they apply their tax laws and their business laws and regulations to their own citizens? Why don't they just leave you alone? I'm going to give you my thoughts on why and how you can deal with it in this video. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson. I'm the author of this book, Nomad Capitalist, available on Amazon. And our company, Nomad Capitalist, helps successful people legally reduce their taxes overseas, get second passports, find new opportunities around the world that we call the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle. You can learn more at our website. And I'm often asked the question by frustrated people who are coming to me for help and by bewildered onlookers, why would one country, the United States, take it upon themselves to tax their citizens no matter where they live, require them to fill out forms, file tax returns, declare their bank accounts, declare their foreign corporations, and submit themselves to every U.S. rule and regulation for their business, even if they don't live in the United States? Why would they do that? And my answer very simply is this: because they can. Think about it. If you ran what was once effectively a monopoly, would you, number one, want to lose that monopoly power as more places started competing with you, as you had more and more competition? Well, probably not. What you would do is you would go out and you would have a media campaign, a branding campaign, a propaganda campaign to convince people, hey, don't look at those options over there, stick with this option over here. That's exactly what's happened in the United States, a country that once didn't have much competition. Back in the 1950s, if you were looking to start a business or go somewhere and become prosperous, there weren't that many options. Certainly not the case today in 2020. Today you've got dozens, if not hundreds of options of countries, territories, free trade zones you can go and start your business in, keep more of your money, have a better lifestyle that costs less. But in the Western countries, the high-tax Western countries, they haven't gotten that message. They're still living off the fumes of the brand, much like certain fashion brands that were once known for high-quality products. Now they're just known for charging more than they need to, and people still go and buy it. And it comes down to marketing. The countries go out and they convince everybody in the population to say that anyone who leaves our amazing country, anyone who stops buying into our amazing brand, is a traitor. They're no good. We don't need them. We should shame them. And that's exactly what has happened. Countries like the United States can get away with taxing people no matter where they live because the population approves of it. Out of 330 million people who live in the United States, only 9 million Americans actually live overseas as expats. Many of them just have jobs in other countries. It's not as if they're going to London or to Sydney or those kind of places to save taxes. They're not. They live there. They open a local bank account to pay their rent or their mortgage, pay for their kids' college tuition. But for some reason, politicians have been able to convince the population that they are evil tax dodgers and they should be punished. They should be made to file endless documents reporting what they have all around the world to make sure they're not cheating on their taxes, even though almost none of them have. And you've seen the results of all this. Very few people have ended up being punished for hiding their money. Some of the people who are hiding their money probably still haven't been found, and we don't recommend that you do that. But the point is, politicians have been very effective at convincing people who believe that their country is the one and only best place to be, that there are no other options, that everywhere else is a hellhole where you'll be murdered or thrown in a ditch or robbed of all your money if you try and invest there. And so therefore, just stay on the farm and give them all your money. And those people who leave, they're creeps, they're weirdos. We don't like people like them. You're seeing this increasingly in countries around the world like France and Canada who propose we should do something like that. It used to be back in the mid-20th century, more countries did. You had countries like Mexico and Hungary that chased citizens down around the world, at least to the best that they could, trying to get their share of their overseas income. One other country still does. It's called Eritrea. It's the North Korea of Africa, and they want a 2% diaspora tax on everyone who leaves Eritrea and goes and lives somewhere else. I've talked to people from Eritrea. A lot of them drive taxi cabs in San Diego, among one of the things that they do. And some of them haven't even heard of this 2% tax. Yet the United Nations took it upon themselves to condemn Eritrea for this great offense. Meanwhile, the United States continues to tax people, sometimes at full tax rates, Although there are ways, if you run a business, to legally reduce your taxes overseas. That's what we do for Americans. Some people, if you're an employee, for example, you're just screwed. I know a guy who makes $1 million a year living in the UAE. Tax rate there is 0. He pays full American taxes minus a small exemption on the first $107,000. For a country he never lives in or even visits anymore. He doesn't even use their passport to live in the UAE. He has a second one from his wife. But they do it because they can. And that's what you have to accept. I work with a lot of folks who are from the United States and they're frustrated by this. They feel like, why am I being singled out? I'm not a bad guy. But this is the new world. Look at the chaos that's going on in some Western countries right now. Look at the riots. Look at everything that's been being discussed. Logic often does not enter into the equation. People are angry. They see unemployment going up. They see their wages going down. They don't have the level of prosperity that their parents or grandparents did. Millennials are upset. That's why everything is okay, boomer, because the boomers were part of the last big generation that had it easy. You could graduate high school, go get a job at the car plant, and have a great salary, be in the middle class, and you enjoyed your life. Not so easy anymore because there are so many countries competing, and people are frustrated. They would like their life to be easy. Wouldn't it be nice if they could also be handed a gold watch after 40 years of working at the exact same company for a great competitive salary? But unfortunately, people in Mexico want jobs too. People in Malaysia want jobs too. Countries like Singapore and the UAE decided to also open up banking centers and compete with New York and London. So now it's not as easy. And so those are the people that play right into the politicians' hands. The politicians say, you know, let's go after these guys and take as much from them as they can because we can get away with it. And so that's the framework you have to work within. The more I have gotten away from being a philosopher, the more successful I've been. You don't always have to understand why people do certain things. You merely have to react. It doesn't matter why it is. It just is. This is what the United States does. Now again, if you run a business, you might be able to reduce your tax to 4% to 10%, something like that, and you can go where you're treated best, and you may decide, you know, that's the price I pay for being an American. Other folks don't want to be Americans. They say it's ridiculous, it's not fair. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to get out of the country. I'm going to give up my citizenship. There are a number of different things you can do, but what you shouldn't do is debate how many angels can dance on the head of a pin and discuss how to fix it or debate why it is. It's just the reality. And if you're from another Western country, you should probably have some kind of preparation in place, a second passport, a second residence, something, to where if your country decides that they can get away with doing the same thing at some point, perhaps the European Union could, or Canada or Australia, if they decide that they're going to do that, you'll also be prepared. Because politicians get away with what they can. And politicians in countries that have built brands that they believe are monopolistic get away with a lot more than politicians in countries where they know they have to be pro-business. They have to keep tax rates low. They have to encourage people to come there because they've seen what happens when people leave their country. Western countries have not seen too many people leave. Only now is it starting to happen en masse, where people are becoming digital nomads, starting companies overseas, living in tax havens. It didn't used to be that easy. It was the province of the ultra-rich. Now anyone can do it. You can buy a plane ticket around the world for next to nothing. You can get fast internet in practically every country on earth. Politicians have yet to catch up with that reality. And those in the countries that have an institutionalized arrogance are not going to. You have to decide what's best for you. It merely is. Now it's your turn to react. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.